Hi guys, welcome to my channel Vinyl Beauty, or welcome back. I'm Debbie if you don't know me, and I'm super excited for today's video because I've got the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight palette to show you. Super excited. I don't pick up eyeshadow palettes on release day very often these days. I'm on a low buy, but as soon as I saw this one, just knew I had to have it. It's got all of the beautiful jewel tones that are right up my street. But if you don't know, Lois Cosmetics are a UK-based indie brand that is run by one person, by the amazing Lois. They've had 3 eyeshadow palettes before this one, so this is the 4th. And I think the releases get better with each one, if I'm quite honest with you. The outer packaging, first of all, super pretty. It really goes with the theme when you see it inside as well. The ingredients are on the back. In the package as well, like you do with a lot of indie brands, you get a card thanking you for picking up the palette, and it's so beautifully packaged. There's all little stars inside, and yeah, there's so much attention to detail with indie brands, and that's one of the things I love so much about them. The colour story of this one is a Jewel Tone Dream. It's so beautiful. So there's the colours, and I think a lot of people would have thought with a midnight palette that it would be a lot darker than this, but I think this makes it so much more versatile. It's just gorgeous. I can't wait to play with it. So as I say, she's had 3 eyeshadow palettes in the past. I'll just quickly show those so that you can see sort of the evolution of the brand a little bit, because I've been with them since they started really. As soon as I saw this one, which is the Gone Rogue palette, I knew I had to own this as well. It's a rainbow palette, but it's really pretty, really special. It does have a pressed glitter in it, and you guys know I don't like pressed glitter, but I still had to have it anyway, so that tells you something. It's got one of the best greens in my collection in here. Yeah, super nice palette. Also at the same time, she released the Rose Metal, which is a bit more of a neutral palette, but pink leaning, very romantic. The name Rose Metal suits it absolutely perfectly. So there's some beautiful, highly reflective metallic shades in here. It's stunning. But what really put Lois Cosmetics on the map and got everybody excited about the brand was last year they released the Meet Me in the Underworld palette, which is this gorgeous palette here, which is a grungy green and sort of raspberry pink colour story. So beautiful, and a backstory to it, and just the artwork to it just really captured everybody's imagination. And if you were wondering, the Meet Me at Midnight and the Meet Me in the Underworld, they could almost be like the Meet Me at Midnight is the darker sister to the Meet Me in the Underworld. They're the same size, same number of shades, same font on the packaging. Yeah, so really excited for this one, guys. Can't wait to put it on my eyes. So let's scoot you in and we'll get started and create a look with this beautiful palette. Okay guys, so in the palette we've got 6 true mattes. We've got 1 matte with sparkles, which I think will behave like a matte when you blend it actually. And then we've got 9 shimmer shades. So it's quite a shimmer heavy palette, but the shimmers are so pretty. I think there's enough matte options to give you a variety of looks. So I thought about this for a long time. What do I want to do? What do I want to create with this one? But I think I'm going to do a 2-tone crease, and I'm going to try out the black, because if ever there's a black in a palette, I have to try it. So we're going to go in with the black. We're going to use this mysterious shade because I love that kind of shade. So on the outer part of my crease, we're going to go in with that. We're going to try out this shade as well, Disturbed. I always love like a purpley navy kind of shade. I think that's going to be stunning. Going to blend that out with Phase, I think. Then I haven't quite decided what shimmers to put on the lid. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. I want to get as many colours on my eyes as I can. And then I thought for today I'd use the Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. I've not used that as a base for quite a long time. But the reason I've chosen this one today is because I'm familiar with the formula for Lois Cosmetics, having played with the other palettes, and I've kind of dipped into these shades just to sort of feel how they feel. They feel the same. I'm not a swatcher, which is why you won't see swatches in my videos. I'm awful at doing it, and I don't really like doing it. I always hard pan my my shimmers whenever I try and do it, so not a fan of putting my fingers in my makeup. But I did kind of dip into the mattes to see how they felt, and they're very similar to how the ones in the Meet Me in the Underworld are, in that they're not a kick-uppy formula at all. They're quite, don't want to say hard pressed, but they're They're more of a, like, I want to say buildable formula, but I don't think they are. I think it's better to go in with the darkest shade first. But I'm using this primer because it's quite grippy, and I always find with ones that take a little bit of building or whatever, it definitely helps with a grippy base. Long way of saying I'm going to use the NYX Jumbo Pencil, which is one of my favourites. So for this look then, we're going to start with the black. The black is called Midnight, which, yeah, is the perfect name for it, really. Now, there was a black in the Meet Me in the Underworld. That one didn't have the sparkles in it. This one has got some sparkles. So I really want to pack this black in my outer corner, and I'm also going to put that onto my lower lash line. I'm just dabbing the colour on for now. Really want to make it as dark and pigmented as possible in this outer corner. And I'm bringing it onto the lower lash line as well, but only just in this outer corner to get plenty of depth in this look. What I love about formulas like this, where it's not loose pressed, it's not like, I don't know, the Anastasia formula of old where you get lots of kick up. It's definitely not that. It is still pigmented and you don't get a bunch of fallouts. I think this is a very, very nice black actually, and even though I'm packing it on, you can't really see those sparkles in it. I think brands add the sparkles because it helps with the blendability with those sequin shadows. I don't know, I'm not a makeup expert in any way, but I think that's what I've heard is the reason why. So the brush I'm using for this black is the Spectrum A13. It's a brush that I would normally use to pack shimmers on the lid, but I really wanted, as I say, to get the opacity of this black as opaque as I can. And I think you can see we've achieved that. That is a black black. Okay, dipping into Mysterious now. This is my kind of shade. I think this looks absolutely beautiful. Just going to kind of kiss the outside of that black. Just basically dabbing around the outside of it, sort of 50% on, 50% off at the moment. But pretty much all the way around where we've put that black shade. And again, that's going on super pigmented. I haven't used this base for the longest time, and I wonder why I don't whenever I do. I normally use it for if I wanted to use, say, a neon shade or a pastel shade, because it's white and it makes them show up, but it also works super well if you want to really amp up the pigment from a palette. And I wanted this to be a super pigmented look, so I think it's working quite well. So now I've kind of placed that colour around, I am just starting to just circular motions around the edges, trying to make sure that we get a similar shape on both eyes. And between the black and the Mysterious shade, I'm really working on making that look a little bit blended there. Now without any further product, I'm just blending that upwards because we haven't got a lighter pink in the palette, and I just want to make sure that that looks nice and diffused there. I love what black eyeshadow does to a look, it's incredible. These are pretty much blending themselves. I am not a good blender, and this is looking really nice, I think. So now as I move along my crease, I want to use the Disturbed shade as kind of my darkest shade. I'm always going to be going dark to light here. Sometimes I do it the other way. I think you get more pigment if you go dark to light though, and as I say, I really wanted this to be a dramatic pigmented look. So I'm using that colour all the way through the crease, kind of joining it up with that black shade and making sure I blend well there. I didn't bring the black all the way because I didn't want it to end up taking over the look entirely, although it probably will because black does. But that shade's gorgeous, like a, I don't know, indigo blue purple, gorgeous. And again, I'm placing the colour more than I'm blending it. This is a Sigma E32 exact blend, which is a good one for this sort of purpose, I think. So I'm keeping that kind of level with where I've got the black coming across there, because I want to give myself room to blend this shade with another shade afterwards. If you don't have the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, or what are you doing with your life? You need it, because I know this is definitely making a difference to how pigmented this looks, but these are really good shadows. So we haven't got a speck of fallout, so if you're a beginner and you've never done the dark to light, you know, where you put your darkest shade first and you're a bit intimidated by going in with a heavy black shade, this sort of formula is ideal for you. Still want to make sure that we've got enough of that blue shade, the disturbed shade showing, so I'm trying to look forwards a little with my eyes relaxed so that we can make sure that it's showing. I've got a fair amount of space between my eyelids and my brows, so we may as well use that. I'm leaving the front kind of area here blank because I want to use another shade there. Just using light circular motions now just at this edge, while still bringing it up a little bit more towards my brow. And then to blend out the disturbed shade, I'm going to go with Phase, this beautiful lilac-y shade here. Can't wait to use this one. Oh, look at that, guys. That looks stunning with that disturbed shade. Just trying to give myself a little blend between the mysterious shade in the corner and this Phase shade that we're putting on now. I'm just going to go back through some of the steps now, so I'm going to put the mysterious shade, re-intensify that just in this corner. As I say, I really want to make this the most dramatic look I've done in a while. Okay, this could go horribly wrong, but I want to try the shade Nocturnal, so this one here, coming down sort of towards my nose here. So I'm just putting that just very slightly, just following on where the disturbed shade was. I'm bringing that one right down. Just an extra little level of interest there. I'm using a very teeny tiny brush though, so that things don't get too out of control there. Now we don't have a shade that will blend that out, so I'm just going to use just a fluffy brush, no additional product, and just blend in that corner. Just take a little bit of that Nocturnal shade just as a blending shade to blend itself as such. There we go. Now no additional product, just going to work on just diffusing the edges even further, just in this outer area. Okay, so we'll finish off the lower lash line later. Just going to go in with NYX Glitter Primer now and do my lids. I'm just going to take that in the front 2/3, so just to where that black shade in the outer corner is. I'm just rocking my head back so I can get right into that crease, but we're not really looking for a cut crease here. Okay, for the shimmers, we've got to try Tonight, I think, because it's the one that sort of speaks midnight to me in the palette. So I'm going to do that one on the outer corners. So I'm just putting that there, but not too much of it. So just next to that black, kind of over the black and next to the black. And you could quite easily just put this over your whole lid, but I'm trying to try as many of the shades as I can in one eye look. The focus of my lids though is going to be the shade Witching Hour, this shade here, and it's going to go next to that blue, slightly over the blue as well. Go back in with the blue, and I'm just going to sort of smush between the two just so that we get a bit of flow there between them. And then in the front part here, I'm going to go in with Half Moon. This is one of the lighter shimmers in the palette. I just thought it'll give us a little bit of lightness just here in the corner. And again, I'm just going to smush between the Witching Hour shade and that shade, just so that we don't have any sort of harsh edges where that shade starts. Okay, for my lower lash line then, I think I'm going to use the shade Nocturnal, but then I'm going to top it with the shade Nightfall, so this one here. So we've got a little bit of shimmer coming to the front here. So I'm using that same brush that we used for the Nightfall shade when we used it in the inner corner, and I'm just pressing that really close to my lashes. And then I'm going to use the Phase shade to blend that out, so that was the lilac one here. I'm just taking a little of that at a time, just using that to blend out that green. Then no additional product, and just blend further underneath. Just really want this to be diffused on the lower lash line. Now I'm just going to load up a really teeny tiny brush. This is a Morphe 213, M213, with this shade Nightfall. And I'll spray that with Fix Plus. And then I'm just going to use that just here in this front portion of the lower lash line. Just giving us that extra little pop of shimmer and interest there. Okay, so that's pretty much the look. I'm just going to hop off camera for something in my waterline, mascara and a lip, and I'll be back with you with the finished look and to give you my thoughts on the shades that I've used so far. Okay guys, so this is the finished look and I really love how it turned out. It's dramatic, it's striking. Those purples, pinks and greens just work so well together and just look, yeah, like a midnight sky, and that's kind of the brief, I guess, for this palette. So yeah, really happy with this one and how it turned out. For my waterline, I've done a two-tone, so I've gone in with a Barry M High Vis liner. This one's in the shade Dangerous on the outer part. And then I've gone in with a 24/7 liner from Urban Decay. This is the shade Deep End on the inner part. And then for mascara today, I've gone in with BadGalBang in Blue. Just thought it added a little bit of an extra touch to the look there. Not done a wing liner today, who am I? But I think there's so much drama going on in the look already. The only additional touch I added off camera was just a tiny little bit of brow bone highlight using the shade Telepathy from the KVD Fetish Face Palette. So my thoughts on the palette then. Well, I think you got a fair idea as I was going along when I was thinking of the palette. It's absolutely beautiful. If you like the colour story, I think you're going to love it. It is quite deep and dark. It doesn't go from light to dark, which is normally one of the things that I look for in a palette. But you know, it's nice to have something a little bit different sometimes. I've got inner corner highlight shades I could bring in if I need to. I don't really feel the need with every look anyway. I think there's quite a lot of scope for this one, because I think if I should have kept it just all blues and purples, then it would be a one-trick pony. But it really isn't, with the golds and the green even, and yeah, there's a lot of variety. And if you look at the front of the palette, you've got some pinks and you've got the gold and greens and whatever in the palette. So I think the colour story is cohesive. You know what you're going to get when you sort of see the outside to what you've got at the inside. It matches, and I love that. Normally I prefer a more matte heavy palette, and as I say, there's 9 shimmers in here, but I think it is the shimmers that really make it beautiful. And I think you've got enough of a range of mattes to create a variation of different looks. I think this is one to dip into for those deep dark smoky eyes, to be honest, and I think it will do that so well. The matte formula isn't kick uppy at all. You'll get no fallout whatsoever. I recommend a grippy base to really get the most out of that sort of formulation, because if you try to put it over a set base, for example, you'll dilute it down a lot more and you won't get the pigmentation. But a grippy base like this, you can see how pigmented it will turn out. The shimmers are your traditional shimmer shade, like a foil shimmer. Not to say that they're not beautiful, they absolutely are, but they're not ones that have got like the glitter particles in or anything, so they're not like Kaleidos shimmers or Odin's Eye or even Beauty Bay shimmers, thankfully. Don't like the Beauty Bay shimmers, as you guys know, but they are still beautiful. They're, as I say, foil shimmers, your traditional shimmer shades that you know and love. You can pick them up with a brush, they work beautiful over glitter glue, they work well sprayed, my kind of shimmers for sure. So I'm delighted I picked this up. Can't wait to create something a bit more lighter in tone with it, because you could do that. You've got like the Blood Moon shade and the Guided shade here. You could do something a lot more sort of peachy and neutral. You've got this ambiguous shade that you could put in the crease. So, you know, there's quite a lot of scope, as I say, for different looks. And I think it could take you sort of from this kind of time of year where it's sort of going into spring into a bit more springtime looks, but still with a dark and grungy kind of vibe, if that makes sense. For those of you that are wondering, and you might have this palette in your collection, it's got a similar vibe to the Shroud Arcana. But if you look at that one's a lot more grungier in tone altogether. You've got a matte for each shimmer in this one. It is a beautiful palette, but this is very deep and dark. This has got a lot more kick up here formula as well. It's a totally different formula to that one, but there are some similarities in some of the shades that are there. And if I hold them up together, you'll see they're quite a lot different. You've got a lot more of a purple tone to the Meet Me at Midnight palette than you do with the Arcana. So I hope you enjoyed seeing my first look with the Lois Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight eyeshadow palette coming together. Really enjoyed playing with it. Can't wait to play with it some more. And yeah, if you picked it up, guys, let me know what you think as well down in the comments. Have you tried Lois Cosmetics? Have you got the Meet Me in the Underworld? I know that one restocked at the same time as the Meet Me at Midnight, so maybe some of you are getting that one, and I might have to do another look with that one soon. I've only played with that once on camera, but definitely want to do some more looks with the Meet Me at Midnight. So if you're new to my channel, you might want to think about subscribing so that you don't miss that. But guys, just thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. Hope you're keeping safe and well. Take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye guys.